When people think about surviving a societal collapse, they think about gold, precious metals, stored wealth. The idea that if you have enough financial value concentrated into a small enough object, you can buy your way through anything. That logic works in a functioning economy. In a disrupted one, it breaks down fast. Gold is not edible, it does not light a fire, it does not treat an infected wound. And in the early weeks of a serious societal disruption, the person who can solve an immediate physical problem is worth more to their community than the person holding an asset that requires a stable trading environment to convert into anything useful. What actually holds value in a collapsed or severely disrupted economy is not stored wealth, it is stored utility. The ability to do something, fix something, or provide something that the people around you desperately need and cannot get through normal channels. Tonight we are going through 9 specific items, all of them cheap, all of them small. All of them capable of becoming the most valuable thing in your immediate environment the moment normal supply chains stop functioning. Subscribe now so you never miss a video on this channel and stay for number 7. It is the item that has functioned as de facto currency in every documented conflict economy of the last 50 years without a single exception. Number 1. Disposable lighters. A single disposable lighter costs under $2 at any convenience store. In a grid-down scenario where reliable fire starting has become difficult, that same lighter becomes a significant trade asset almost immediately. Fire is not a luxury in a survival environment. It is how you purify water, cook food, provide warmth, signal for help, and maintain basic psychological stability. Every household that did not stockpile fire starting capacity will need it within the first 48 hours. The person who has 30 lighters stored in a dry location has 30 units of immediately convertible trade value sitting in a shoebox. Buy them by the 10-pack. Store them sealed in a Ziploc bag away from heat. They cost almost nothing now, and they represent pure utility in any environment where the convenience store that used to sell them is closed indefinitely. Number 2. Sealed antibiotic ointment and basic wound care supplies. Infection kills people in survival scenarios at a rate that most civilians do not anticipate. A cut that would be treated with a 30-second trip to the medicine cabinet in normal circumstances becomes a life-threatening situation in an environment without accessible medical care, compromised sanitation, and physical labor that creates daily injury exposure. Sealed tubes of antibiotic ointment, sterile bandages, and medical tape have long shelf lives, take up almost no space, and address one of the most common and most dangerous survival health problems directly. In a disrupted community, the household that can treat wounds prevents infections that would otherwise become medical emergencies requiring resources nobody has. Buy multiples, store them sealed and cool. In a trade economy built around immediate needs, the ability to treat an infected cut is worth more than almost any financial asset you could name. Number 3. Waterproof matches and fire-starting materials. Disposable lighters are the primary fire-starting stockpile. Waterproof matches are the redundancy layer. They function in conditions where a lighter fails, wet environments, high altitude, extreme cold, where lighter fluid does not vaporize efficiently. A single box of waterproof matches costs under $5. A fire-starting kit that includes waterproof matches, a ferrocerium rod, and a small amount of tinder material covers every environmental condition in which reliable fire starting might be needed. Total cost under $15. Total utility across the full range of survival fire scenarios essentially complete. In a barter economy, depth of capability matters. The person who can start a fire in rain is worth more than the person who can only start one in good conditions. Redundancy in your fire-starting kit translates directly into trade value in adverse conditions. Number 4. Feminine hygiene products. This item is absent from most preparedness content and universally present in documented accounts of what becomes scarce and valuable fastest in a disrupted supply environment. Feminine hygiene products disappear from shelves in the first wave of emergency buying alongside water and food. They are needed by roughly half the population on a recurring monthly basis, regardless of what is happening in the outside world. They have additional utility as wound dressing material in trauma scenarios, and they are compact, lightweight, and have long shelf lives when stored sealed. A large bulk pack costs under $20 and contains months of supply or significant trade inventory. Store them sealed in a dry location. In any community-level disruption, this is one of the first items that people will trade significant value to obtain. Number 5. Reading glasses in multiple common strengths. Approximately half of all adults over 40 require corrective lenses for close work. In a survival scenario involving food preparation, medical care, equipment repair, map reading, or any detailed manual task, the inability to see clearly is a genuine functional impairment. Prescription glasses require a functioning optometry and manufacturing infrastructure to replace. Standard over-the-counter reading glasses in common strengths, +1.5, +2, +2.5, are available at any pharmacy for under $10 per pair and require no prescription. Store several pairs across a range of strengths. They are lightweight, durable when stored in cases, and immediately useful to a large percentage of any adult population. In a disrupted environment, handing someone the glasses they need to read a medication label or thread a needle generates goodwill and trade value simultaneously. Number 6. Heirloom vegetable seeds. This item operates on a different timeline than the others. It is not useful in the first 72 hours. It becomes critically valuable in the weeks and months after a serious disruption when the question shifts from immediate survival to sustainable food production. Heirloom seeds, specifically open-pollinated varieties that produce viable seeds from their own harvest, represent the ability to generate food indefinitely from a single starting point. Unlike hybrid commercial seeds, heirloom varieties reproduce true to type. One successful growing season produces enough seed stock for the following year and surplus to trade. A comprehensive heirloom seed collection costs under $30. Store them sealed in a cool, dry location. In a community working toward food self-sufficiency after an extended disruption, the household holding viable seed stock for staple crops holds something closer to foundational wealth than any precious metal. The item that has functioned as de facto currency in every documented conflict economy of the last 50 years without exception. Sarajevo, post-war Germany, every extended prison economy ever documented. Every prolonged conflict zone where normal currency has destabilized. Number 7. Cigarettes. This is the one. Cigarettes are not valuable because they are useful in a survival sense. They are valuable because addiction creates demand that does not respond rationally to circumstance. A person experiencing nicotine withdrawal in a high-stress survival scenario will trade significant goods and services for a cigarette. That demand exists independent of infrastructure, supply chains, or economic stability. You do not have to smoke to stockpile them. Buy several cartons, store them sealed and dry. In any environment where cash has lost meaning and barter has replaced it, cigarettes function as a stable unit of exchange that both parties immediately understand and agree on. They are the closest thing to universal currency that a disrupted economy produces. Number 8. Duct tape. Duct tape is the most versatile repair material ever manufactured. It fixes torn shelter material. It seals gaps in windows and doors against contamination. It repairs broken equipment, improvises splints, secures bandages, reinforces footwear, patches water containers, and performs approximately 400 other functions that any person living through a disruption will need performed. A single roll costs under $5. It is lightweight, compact, and does not degrade significantly in storage. Buy several rolls, keep one in your go bag, one in your vehicle, and the remainder in your home supply. In a community where the hardware store is closed and basic repair capability has become scarce, duct tape is the answer to problems that people will pay significant value to solve. Number 9. Instant coffee and caffeine products. Caffeine dependency is one of the most widespread physiological dependencies in the modern world. A significant percentage of the adult population requires daily caffeine intake to function at baseline cognitive and physical performance levels. In a disruption scenario where coffee supply chains have broken down, caffeine withdrawal compounds the existing stress of the situation with headaches, fatigue, and cognitive impairment that last for days. Instant coffee has a multi-year shelf life when stored sealed. It is lightweight, compact, and produces an immediate and predictable physiological effect that people will trade real value to obtain. Energy tablets, caffeine gum, and tea are secondary options with similar trade dynamics. Store several months of supply beyond your own household consumption. In a barter economy, the items that address physiological dependency rather than optional preference carry price inelastic demand. People will trade more for what they need than for what they want. Stored wealth assumes a functioning economy to convert it back into utility. Stored utility does not need that conversion. It works on the day the system stops working and every day after. 9 items, all of them available today at a combined cost of under $200. All of them capable of becoming the most valuable thing in your immediate environment the moment the supply chains that make them ordinary stop functioning. Drop a comment below and tell me which item on this list surprised you most. I want to know what people were not already thinking about. Subscribe if this channel is giving you the preparedness perspective that the mainstream conversation is missing. And the next video goes somewhere most channels will not, the psychological side of survival. Why people with full supplies make fatal decisions and what the documented research on human behavior under sustained stress actually tells us about who makes it and who does not. That one is coming soon. Do not miss it.